Hey people, what's up? We had a very, very interesting 2 hour training session last night with the foundation group. It tends to be like the lower rated group in Chess Bootcamp Live. So we had about 7 or 8 people on in the live training, and we went over a lot of positions that I'd picked out, a couple from my own games, but also from the group's own games that I'd been through in my prep. And what we were looking for was winning end games that we'd managed to throw away, or where our opponent had managed to throw it away with a blunder. So basically missing a critical position. And one of the things that we figured out was at the end of it, we were just going, like, there was one position where we played it through with the help of Stockfish, and Stockfish converted it so easily. But even between us, with all of those brains, admittedly we had been at it for 2 hours, but even between us, we couldn't tell what was critical. Why did we struggle? Because for some of these positions, I had the rest of the group play against me, so they had the winning position, and I had to try and defend the losing position, and it was not easy at all when we played it as humans. But the fish did it. Just made it look really easy. We couldn't quite figure out why. So what we figured out is we're going to have to go Russian style. Okay, we are going back to Soviet Russia, and we're going to study end games, and we're going to, we need to become end game ninjas. So I mean, we've got people rated from like 600 up to maybe 1300 in these groups. So certainly in that one, I think last night. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back and really, really train. It's interesting, actually, that when Craig started doing the advanced group with Chess Bootcamp Live, he started with endgames. He started with some critical stuff, some of which I want to go over today. So this is partly for my Chess Bootcamp Foundation group, partly for myself, right? But I'm going to start on a regime of endgame bootcamp mastery, right? So what I want to start with is Lichess has got some really, really good studies here. The way you can go along, you can practice against the computer. Okay, so piece checkmates, really, really obvious stuff. How do you ensure you can checkmate your opponent every time with a rook and a king against the king, that kind of thing. I mean, there's some fancy stuff. Knight and bishop mate. I don't know if I've ever been in that situation, right? So some of this stuff is a bit nerdy. They've got stuff on tactics, blah, 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 blah. Now, what I'm interested in here for starting with is pawn endgame. So this is in Lichess/practice. You can go to learn practice here, okay? And so what we're going to look at is the key squares. So I've already been through this once. Okay, I'm going to go through it now. I'm going to go through it with you. And what's great is that it gives you a bit of tuition at the start. It gives you some information, gives you a bit of a hint, right? So safely promote the pawn. Now what it's saying is, if the pawn is on the 2nd, 3rd or 4th rank, okay, this is from your perspective, from your side of the board, okay, then these are the key squares. The 3 squares in front of and adjacent to the pawn, but 2 ranks in front, okay? Bottom line is, if you can get your king to one of these squares, you win, right? And what it will do is it'll make you convert the position from here, okay? So these are the three key squares, okay? Because it's on one of these ranks. So all I need to do is get my king to one of these. It's always white to play right here, and we're in. Now you have to convert it, all right? So basically, what I want to do is I want to get opposition here, and then another key pattern is, I don't know if I've ever done this on any of my videos, you want to put your king here because it's a knight's move away from the opposition king. Okay, knight's move. I might take opposition again here. So opposition is when you're 2 squares apart in a straight line. So like king, if the black king was in any of these squares, we would be in opposition. You want to get into opposition on your turn. In this instance, okay. Now I can just move the pawn up if I want. Okay, I'm gonna I'll move the pawn up again. Oops, messed it up. Why was that messed up? Okay, let's do it again. Okay, save square, take opposition, knight's move, push pawn. Now he's gone, so I'm going to push the pawn. Now I take opposition. Now it's a knight's move. Now I push the pawn. Now I take opposition. Now it's a knight's move. There you go. Right? So there's a kind of a rhythm to it. And then we're going to get a queen. And then we're going to practice. Oh, it's got a queen. So here are the key squares because I'm now on the 3rd rank. Okay. So any of these 3, yeah. So what I need to do is I need to get to one of these squares. Now, the question is, how long is it going to take the king to get, for example, here? Okay. If the king can get there, then he's covering those squares, and I can't get in. However, I know if these are the squares, one for me, one for him, and I'm in. Okay, so I can go to anywhere here. Okay, knight's move. Pawn up, take opposition, knight's move away, and sorted. Okay, and it's not making me convert the king and queen ending. Okay, now we're on the 4th rank. Okay, 2, 3, 4, right? Same deal. 2 ranks in front, just need to get to one of these, and we know we're safe. Now I can move the pawn because it's a knight's move, opposition, knight's move, bang, bangity bang. Sorted. Done. Now, pawn on the 5th rank, slightly different, because these ones are also key squares. So basically, if I can get my king into any of these at all, apparently I win. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to just move forward, I think. And now I can just go here, because now we roll out the red carpet, what we call the red carpet for the pawn, can't be stopped. And the point about this is that you can come along to Lichess, it's all free, you don't even have to be logged in, okay, and you can, once you know these things, you bang it out, go along every day and do a drill, or one thing or another, it will certainly help. Now, 6th rank, same deal, any of the 6 squares in the 2 ranks in front of the pawn, key squares. However, if I go here now, right, I go here, kingy goes here, he takes opposition with me because I can't go into any of these squares, right? And I lose. So the correct move here is pawn forward. Then I can move my king forward and then I win. Okay? Here's the bottom line. We've all been in situations like this and blundered stalemate or blundered a draw by repetition or something like that. If you find yourself in any of these situations, what we want to do is we want to get to a position where you will never lose. You will never give away games that were yours. They were in your hand, right? And you just dropped them. Okay. Now this is an interesting one. Special case here. And this is because the pawn is on the 5th rank here in this case, but it's a knight's pawn. Okay, so it's on the B file or the G file. Now, there's a danger here. If I, for example, just push the pawn forwards, then the pawn is attacking that square. My king is attacking both of these. Black's king can't move. It's going to be stalemate. You see? So you can't just push the pawn forward. Okay? So, what do you have to do? Well, what we've got to do is we've got to flush the king out of the corner. So that applies whether my king is on either of these squares, because either of these squares always controls both of these squares, okay? And then my pawn can't move forward because it removes the other one. So we've got to flush the king out, and the way to do it is you've got to move in front of the pawn, and then out to the side, and then here. And now we have the red carpet for the pawn, okay? See? Pawn can now dance home. And let's just dance home. Right? Okay, similar kind of deal. Here the kings are already in opposition. I just need to move to the outside here, and to there, and there, and we're home and dry. Okay, pawns on the 7th, pretty straightforward. I just need to protect the pawn so it can promote. So I can go here or here, it doesn't really matter which one, and we promote. Okay, rook pawns. This is key. Right, so from the white perspective, it's pretty straightforward, but these 2 squares are the key squares. Okay, now It's much more important from the defending position. So here, very straightforward, I just move to one of those squares. Right, and we win. Now, but what about if you're defending? Okay, if I'm the defending king, here's the key thing. If I can get my king to a point where his king can't get into these two squares, right? That's my job. I have to prevent him, this bugger here, from getting into these two squares. So I can come to the side. Right, now I can't go there, I can't go there. I can come here. And now look, I'm on one of the squares, and now if I move in the corner, I've actually achieved stalemate. Did you see that? I know it's set to load the next one automatically. Okay, and here is a key one. This one's really critical. Okay, so we know these are the key squares because we are on 2, 3, or 4. Okay, 1 doesn't count because pawns don't exist on first rank. Not your own first rank. Or actually your opponent's first rank because they have to promote. So we're on the 3rd rank. That means that these are the key squares. Now, critical, where do you go? We've got to get here. So let's say I go like that, right? King goes here. I go here. King goes here, right? Let's put him in red, right? So after 2 moves, he's on this square. And now I can't, this king can now just patrol these squares and he can stop me from getting to any of those, right? That's the key thing. But there is a way to do it. Okay, I have to get to one of these and I can't just take a straight line. If I take a straight line, I fail, right? Come here, I come here, and look, these are the key squares and he just patrols from side to side and I'm done for because my king is in front of my pawn. Okay, in front of the pawn, but I can't get far enough in front. Okay, so let's go back. And the trick is, keep these on. Trick is you have to go behind, you have to go round the pawn. Okay, so from here now, I go here. Now look, now I can get to this square. And now the point is that I've taken opposition because, hang on. Now he moves into opposition, that's it. Okay, go back to the start. Okay, you go behind the pawn, you can go around here. Now I've got to get to one of these squares, so how can I guarantee it? We've just seen if I come here, he comes here, and he has opposition, which means there's a force field around his king stopping me from getting in. Okay, but if I go to this square, then he goes sideways, and then I take opposition, and that means the force field is, I mean, we've both got a force field around us, but the point is it's black to move. So if I go here now, I take opposition with black's king, and now look, knights move away, and we know what to do. Okay, move the pawn, blah, blah, blah. Well, go on, let's do it properly. Do it properly, Hunty. Okay, and this is great. You know, every time you fail at this, it's important because it's showing you that there's something you haven't remembered or you haven't internalized, right? I'll take opposition, I'll go here. Okay, I can take opposition, I know that's good. Okay, now I can take the knight's move, surely. Now I can move my pawn. Okay, now he's a knight's move away. I think I can just take sideways opposition actually. Oh no, he can come back now. Yeah. So now I have to come back. That doesn't work. Now I can move the pawn forward. And, you know, what we're doing here is we're training it. It's not almost muscle memory. But, okay, take opposition. He's got to go to one side now. I come here. And now my pawn has a free passage. Okay? So you need to train it so that you can do it practically without thinking. Okay? You're not working it out on every turn. It's just a pattern. You know the pattern, and you can just bang it out, right? And that's when you see these, you know, expert players playing bullet and, you know, 1 minute games and stuff like that, and they pre-move, bam, 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 and because they simply know the pattern, and that's it. So, 100% recommend that everybody, unless you know 100% that you can do this, right? Every time, get down here to Lee Chess, practice room, key squares. Let's start here. Hope I've given you a taster for this, but and it's all very well to watch somebody else doing it, but there's no substitute for practicing it yourself. Drill it, drill it, drill it until it's automatic, second nature, and you will win every game that you are entitled to win when you get to this position, because these positions are winning positions, and it hurts when you throw one of them away. So there's no need to do it. Get down there, drill it until it's second nature. Right, everyone, thanks for watching. See you later.